I want to show everyone how strong we all are. I've called it the bitch. She's a bitch for putting my life on hold. 1 in 10 women in the UK have endometriosis. Endometriosis is a gynecological condition. Cells similar to those found in the womb are found elsewhere in the body. So they shed and bleed in the same way, but there's nowhere for them to go. So this causes heavy and painful periods, fatigue, bladder and bowel problems.
At the minute, I feel like I've got a knife in both my ovaries. So the pain is like the rest of your womb being carved out like a pumpkin. It is horrific. I ran a half marathon last year on a torn ankle ligament and didn't feel it because my pain threshold is that high from this. But the only thing that will help it is to take morphine. That is our normal. You have no choice. You've just got to take it to have any semblance of a normal life. It's nothing like period pain. It's not just a bad period. It is way, way beyond that.
I know it's like just still a bit neon, but we're a bit big, aren't we?
Everybody here has had to fight for a diagnosis. So in 14 years of trying to get some form of diagnosis, no one ever mentioned the word endometriosis. I was told so many times that I just had heavy periods and that was what some women deal with and that's normal. To actually have something written down to say it's not in my head, there is a physical problem, makes such a huge difference.
Periods are your worst enemy when you have endometriosis. The longest period I've had is 6 months and the shortest period I've had is 6 weeks. You feel really bloated, you feel like you can't eat, you're vomiting constantly, you're passing out because you physically can't deal with the pain any longer. My school experience was probably the worst experience of my life because I was the girl known as the bleeder. You're bleeding that bad, people are thinking you're miscarrying. You're sat there and then you're bleeding through to the chair because you're going through your pants, trousers, skirt. Full of other students couldn't understand that there was something wrong with me.
That looks really good
I remember when the doctor first told me that I could never have children, I didn't want to believe it at first, and it just makes me feel like failure as a daughter. I know how much my mum would love grandkids of her own from me, because I'm my mum's little girl. Not having a chance to give her that really does break my heart more than anything. And that really, it really gets to me most days.
Yes.
Like, making love, having sex, whatever you want to call it, it's a huge part of your relationship. I know that the pain is so bad that I can't even let him go near me, and that is devastating for not just you, but for your partner. And I can take all the painkillers in the world, but I feel like I'm going to physically sew it or pass out from it. You desperately want to have that fun, exciting, passionate sex life, but then there's times where you really can't. Me and my husband tried to have our daughter, and thank God we have got a daughter. You know, I've had to have a hysterectomy now. At 31 I had to have one. I literally would have sex to try and get pregnant, but I would literally be shaking. I mean, that's not romantic, that's not sexy, do you know what I mean? Quite frankly, my husband, like, I am so happy, I'm so lucky. Like, honestly, he's just the most amazing husband ever. Like, I'm not just saying it because he stood by me through so much stuff.
A lot of friends sort of feel like I'm trying to back out of plans because I'm so tired all the time and I'm having to cancel. And then in the end, they eventually stop asking you to do things. It makes you feel pretty crap, pretty rubbish. I had a really good friend of mine for about 10 years and we don't speak anymore. And it turns out that having a chronic illness has pushed away the closest people that you thought you'd always have. Some people just don't get it. Until you get endometriosis, you don't get it. You will tend to sort of feel alone, but just know that you're never alone. I've had a lot of people message me on social media, and it's always nice to have somebody to talk to that understands.
In terms of mental health, I find that you have to really push yourself to do things that other people would find are quite ordinary, like going on a night out or a party or a wedding. I find that it's a vicious circle. The more that you isolate yourself, the harder it gets. So having a diagnosis, it meant that I could understand perhaps where some of my anxiety was coming from.
5 weeks ago I had my most recent endometriosis surgery. It actually is all done via keyhole, where they'll actually blow up the stomach to obviously be able to move the organs around, and then we'll cut out the pockets of endometriosis. Pain-wise, for now it is reduced. It's still there, but it's not as bad as what it was before the surgery, so I'll take that any day.
I was off work for a long period of time, in excruciating pain. I was quite fortunate in a way that my manager was very supportive and my work colleagues were really supportive. But when it goes back to HR, and HR look on a computer screen to see all the red days that I've been off, which then is like a cause for concern. I did feel guilty. You know, everybody else has to work that a little bit harder.
A woman's supposed to be able to have children. Women are supposed to have periods every kind of 30 days, and I can't do that. I have to have an injection, which means that my ovaries are shut down, so I'm in a chemical menopause. I was in a chemical menopause at 26, and for me that really does affect the way I feel as a woman. I wear lots of makeup when I go out. I have my hair done, I have my nails done, and I wear heels. I want people to see me as a woman because I just don't feel like that inside.
I started experiencing symptoms of endometriosis from the age of about 12, 13, and there wasn't really any education or awareness in schools around that really. Obviously 1 in 10 women suffer from the condition. I think if 1 in 10 men were suffering from a similar condition, there'd have been a lot more research and a lot more awareness around it.